Hi there everybody, my name is ThomasWoodenRailway, and today I'm going to be doing a mass unboxing video of the ThomasWoodenRailway items you see in front of you right here. Over the past couple of months I have amassed a large number of items that I'm going to be using for my series, and I figured, you know what, why don't I just keep these in the packaging, and at the end of the season let me do a mass unboxing video of me taking all this stuff out of the boxes and the packaging. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing today. So in this video, and possibly the second part of this video, because this could go on for a very long time, I'm going to be taking all of these items out of the box, doing little reviews of them, and I know everybody enjoys a good old-fashioned unboxing video. So without further ado, I wonder which item I'm going to choose to unbox first. Alrighty everyone, I've transitioned from that shot of looking at all of those awesome toys down to this simple set. I thought this would be something cool to look at while I'm doing this unboxing. So let's get started with this 2-pack called Thomas's Castle Delivery. And in this 2-pack we have Royal Crest Thomas and a cargo car. Now the reason this is called Royal Crest Thomas is because the Thomas that comes in this pack is a special one. He has a banner coming over his cab there, so I guess if his driver and fireman needed to get out, that might be a little bit tricky. He has a normal face, however, and then this cargo car here is relatively normal, except it's painted purple. I think that's the first purple cargo car we have in the ThomasWoodenRailway line. I may be wrong on that. And then it also comes with 2 knight figurines that are attached to each other, and I'm actually really curious to unbox that. And we're not only going to be unboxing one of these, we got a couple more we're going to do, because I like the rolling stock that comes in this 2-pack. So let me get started. I'm going to try to unbox this live to camera. It may be a little tricky. I'll try to keep you guys occupied. To begin, I've wanted to do an unboxing video for a long time. I feel like I say that with almost every video I do, but it's true. I have been collecting some ThomasWoodenRailway items over the past couple of months, and I've collected so many, in fact, that I had all of them in the packaging, and I was like, you know what, let's make a video out of this. So that's what we're going to do. I've got Thomas out of the box. Here comes the cargo car, and if you didn't see it on the packaging, this is from King of the Railway, so it's a couple years old. A few months ago, Toys R Us was having like a liquidation sale, and these were on sale for $7 a piece, which is crazy good because when they first came into stores, I believe they were selling for $24.99, pretty much $25, so that was a good price. So that's why I picked up a couple of these. So let's spin Thomas around here. As you can see, he has a normal face. He is smiling. Let me show the bottom of him if the packaging messed it up in that first shot. Royal Crest Thomas. And looks like a normal Thomas from the front until you spin to the side and you see he has this, I'm guessing it's like a banner for Ulfstead Castle. I'm guessing that's what it is. That's what it looks like. And I kind of think it's funny because if his driver and fireman need to get out, they're going to be stuck in there a while. And then let's take a look at this cargo car. Let's take a look at the car itself first. Cargo car. These are great items. They're super generic. You can do a lot of things with these. You can transport goods, like the knights here. You can get those cargo car or those cargo car pieces itself. I think they still sell those in certain packs nowadays. This cargo car feels a little bit different than the other ones I have because this is made by Mattel. The other ones I have are from the Learning Curve era. And then let's take a look at these knight figurines. These are plastic. We got some licensing info on the bottom. My camera is not going to probably focus. There we go. These are pretty cool. They're attached to each other, and man, that's really nice. And there's a little bit of wiggle room, if I can explain it. There we go. So they're not a tight fit, but they fit nonetheless. So that is the Thomas 2-pack called Thomas's Castle Delivery. It's from King of the Railway. I can't remember off the top of my head if it's from a specific scene or not. I have another one here. Let's unbox this as well. It should be the exact same thing as the one we just unboxed. If there's a difference, then that's not good. So let's see here. Cargo car and Thomas. So, like I said, the reason I have a couple of these is because I really like the rolling stock that came in this 2-pack, and so I pretty much bought them for the cargo car and the knights here. This knight piece is really nice, and I don't know if it's going to show up on camera. My camera is not focusing on the right thing. But there's actually a fair amount of detail on these knights. Obviously, the whole thing is painted silver, but in terms of like the helmet and then the shield they have in front of them, it actually looks like Ulfsted Castle. So really interesting how in some areas of the Thomas Wooden Railway line we get super specific, detailed items, and other times they completely miss the ballpark on some things. And third time's the charm. Let's unbox this third item we have here. It's the exact same thing. Tell me what you guys think about this item. It's a couple years old. That's why it was on sale back at Toys R Us. From what I've seen so far, this is looking to be a pretty nice item. And the other two-pack they did for King of the Railway. Actually, they did a couple of two-packs. I shouldn't say that, but there's a two-pack featuring Toby. That's pretty neat. Unfortunately, Toys R Us didn't have any of those when I went there. So here is the final one that I have. My turntable is being a little finicky. There's Thomas. Looking over these three items, I haven't been able to see any considerable differences. And I won't be keeping all of these Thomases. I'm going to give some of them away because I don't need this many Thomases. I have too many trains as it is. Let's take a look at this cargo car. Hopefully I've explained everything that I need to. Hopefully I've shown the items in good detail. Really nice. Not much more else to say. I guess I'll move Thomas along. And I guess we'll get started at looking at our next item. And after a brief pause, I am back. Let's move on with this unboxing video and take a look at Whiff. Now, I know I said in my Season 13 update video that I was going to be keeping the original style Whiff in my series. I think I have had a change of thought because a few months ago, the same sale I was talking about at Toys R Us, they had numerous things on sale, and one of them was Whiff. I believe he was down to $5 or something like that, which is crazy good. Whiff usually sells for about, I'd say anywhere from about $13 to $17. So I think I'm going to be using this Whiff model in my series, but I won't know for sure until I get this out of the box. So, by the way, I'm going to be keeping all of the boxes and the packaging from this video and save it till the very end, and we're going to have a look and see at all of the boxes that I've unboxed and really see how much trash there is and how much garbage. It should be a really cool site. So here is Whiff. He comes from a couple seasons ago in Thomas and Friends. He's one of those characters that I really didn't think would stick around. I thought he'd be a one-off character like Billy or Hank or Flora, but surprisingly, he survived the model era, and he's actually a pretty prominent recurring character in the current Thomas and Friends CGI series. So this color Whiff is a little bit darker than the one I have right now. What I really like about the Whiff that I currently own is that he looks dirty. I think they put like a little bit of something on the paint that makes him look dirty, and that's significant because Whiff works at the waste dump, so he's obviously going to be a very dirty engine. I don't see that type of detail on this model, but nonetheless, it's really good. There are some differences, but overall, he looks pretty much the same. I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up, but there's a little, I don't think that's part of the model. I want to say that's manufacturer stuff right there. The back, where his bunker is a little bit dirty. So here's Whiff. After looking over this model, honestly, I'm really impressed. Not that I didn't like this model of Whiff to begin with, but when I was making that Season 13 video, I was just thinking about the items that I wanted to continue on with me as I move forward with my series, and Whiff wasn't one of those. But I have to say, after looking at this model, I think he'll just fit in perfectly with the other CGI models that I'm going to be using. So guys, that's Whiff. Nothing really else to say. He has plastic bogies and the name Whiff on the bottom, as well as some recall info if that ever happens. Whiff, he's looking good. All right, Whiff can move on down the line, and let's get ready for our next unboxing that we're gonna do. Ladies and gentlemen, we have unboxed 2 trains so far. Now it's time to move on to something bigger. How about a destination? How about the Wacky Track Bridge featuring Paxton? Yes, so this is a big destination. It's a bridge that has that flexi track that I think is really popular, and best of all, it comes with a CGI version of Paxton. Something I noticed here actually, it looks like this thing is supposed to swing down that says includes Paxton. You guys see that? That's interesting. I don't think it's down. I'm ripping the packaging now, and because this is such a large item, unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to unbox this to camera. You guys will probably just have to listen to me wrestle with it for a few minutes. So I'm actually going to do a jump cut here. Once I have this out of the box, we're going to take a really good look at it and see what the Wacky Track Bridge has for us. All right, after messing around with this for a few minutes, I've gotten to here, which doesn't look like much because it isn't much. Just give me a few more seconds, and I'll try to do this to camera because we've gotten it loose from inside the plastic. It's just a matter of getting it free. Paxton's trying to make a daring escape up top. I think you can see him hanging on there. All right, wow. So this thing wasn't attached to the box, it's just inside of the packaging here. A piece of the bridge just came off. I hope that's okay. Whoops, there goes Paxton. There is the box. It hung on for a little bit there, but of course I was able to destroy it in the end. Let's move that packaging off to the side. And let's take a look at Paxton really quick before we get to the bridge. This model of Paxton is, I guess, the CGI version technically, but Paxton's never been in model form, so all versions are CGI. This is the Mattel version for sure, if my camera will focus. I don't know, the Paxton that I have right now, I really enjoy his face, and I really enjoy what I've done with this series. I just realized I knocked the sign over, whoops. I've really enjoyed with what I've been able to do with Paxton. I like making him a confident character. In the TV series, he's not so much. In fact, he's a buffoon, and Diesel and the other engines like to take advantage of him, and I don't know. I really don't like that. So I'm going to be keeping the old style Paxton in my series, old style, if I can even say that. This Paxton, however, is really nice. He has curved edges. One thing I'm not a fan of is the lack of colored wheels. This is something that Mattel has kind of been on and off about. I think when they took over the range at the beginning of 2013, they were coloring the wheels because it adds a lot of detail. It makes these items stand out. And then I think after the first production run, they were like, no, we need to cut costs. We're going to stop doing it. So, for example, another engine they've done that to is Fergus. I've seen red colored wheels on Fergus and just plain ones. I've seen Butch with different colored wheels. I've seen Winston. Sometimes Winston has silver wheels, sometimes he doesn't. Overall, this model of Paxton is great, but personally, I prefer the one that came before this one in the Day of the Diesels packaging. So this is Paxton. There he is. Say goodbye, Paxton. We're going to move along, and now, as I zoom out, let's take a look at this bridge that fell apart while I was trying to unbox it. So here we go. It's this wacky material that I really enjoy. It allows for some creativity. I believe this is actually supposed to come apart now that I look at it. I'm going to say this snaps right in here. I'm going to say, is there a specific area? Oh, I think I found it. There we go. All right, so it's not even, as you can tell. It's longer on this side, but this will do for the review. So this Wacky Track bridge is really cool. You can create angles, you can turn the track around. It's actually really nice. And what's really cool is it's Sodor themed. It's not just a generic bridge with no markings or anything like that. I believe it's on this side. Yes, I saw this on the packaging. I thought this was really cool. It says Arsdale. So hopefully in my upcoming season when I'm building my layout, I'll have Arsdale going this way like the arrow says. Something really interesting, this bridge actually sits up a little higher than the rest of them because as you can see here, that's where the track is supposed to clip in, and then there's an incline. So this bridge actually sits a little higher than it's supposed to because there has to be room for like this. It honestly looks like a skeleton at the bottom here. That's the flexi part. It keeps this track in form, or it keeps this track in place while you move it around. So this is a very nice, versatile destination. You can have it be straight if you want to. You can have it curve off to the side. You can even do like this zigzag pattern like it was in the box. Sorry, I'm having trouble fitting this on my camera, but overall, a really cool bridge. And I also got this at Toys R Us. And they were doing a clearance event, not the same one I've talked about already before. You guys probably think I live at Toys R Us or something, but I don't. This was down from like $30 or $40 to $17. So when you think about it, you got Paxton here, and you get a bridge for $17 or $18, pretty much $20. Let's just round it up. So basically, you're either paying a little more for Paxton there, and getting a free bridge, or you're paying for a really cheap bridge and getting a free engine. So it was a great deal. This is a very nice piece. I don't know if they still sell it or not. I want to say they don't, because that's the reason probably Toys R Us had it on sale. Overall, I'm really impressed. Not too worried about the plastic on the bottom, because some things are unavoidable, and in this case it's actually a necessity on this destination. We need the plastic there to keep the track in place. So this is a great destination. I like this already. I can't wait to use it in my series. There's what it looks like. It looks to be about the same length as the Sodor Bay Bridge, I should say that. Looks to be, maybe a little bit shorter. Overall, a great item. I'm impressed. So let's move on to the next one, shall we? This next Thomas Wooden Railway model is one of my all-time favorites. I remember when this came out in stores in 2013, and even though I wasn't a big fan of the toys at this point, I looked at this one in the store and said, wow, that is a nice model. I'm talking about the 2013 version of Edward, made by Mattel or Fisher-Price. I remember seeing this in stores and being like, oh, it looks okay, and then I spun it around and saw the face, which is really hard to see since it's dark, and that face is awesome. And what you're going to notice as I unbox a lot of these 2013 items is that Mattel has done an excellent job of replicating the face that you see on the engines in the TV series down to their Wooden Railway toys. So I remember when I saw this in stores, I was immediately all over it. At the time, I didn't need this Edward because I had a very old trusty version that I was still using, but as I told you guys in my Season 13 update, I'm going to be transitioning to CGI models, and this is one that does not disappoint. I have always liked Edward. I would probably say he's my favorite engine. For a while on my channel here, Edward was actually my profile picture a long time ago. And I'm super excited to unbox this, and I'm super excited to feature Edward in one of my videos, especially one of my Season 13 episodes. So, man, this is a really messy unboxing so far. We're not having much luck. It's been a while since I've unboxed any Thomas Wooden Railway items because I've been saving them for this video. So now we got Edward out. Like I said, I'm keeping all of this trash, and we're going to have a look at it at the very end when we're all said and done. See how much trash there is. So here's Edward. I'm looking over him right now. Looks really, really good. Oh, there we go. Wow. That's a nice model, I will say. Although I'm not a fan of Edward's personality in terms of how he's been acting in the TV series in recent seasons, I do like how Edward looks. And in my series, when Season 13 comes around, I'm going to be enjoying the classic new look of Edward, but enjoying his personality that everybody wants, and so that he's wise, he's kind, he knows a lot, versus the Edward, or Eddie, as he was sometimes called in episodes a few years ago, that is kind of a wimp. And I don't really like that Edward. I don't think anybody does. So let me look underneath here. Really nice model. Really nice. I'm really impressed. Here's his tender. His font's a little different. I won't complain. This is a really nice model. Can't wait to use him in my series, honestly. Let me give him a spin, if my hand will get out of the way. Wow, I sound like I'm in love with this model, and it's probably because it's true. This is a great model. Man, great job, Mattel. I mean, I know they made some mix-ups and mess-ups in the past, but this is a great, great version of Edward. So I'm going to be so happy to use this in my series in a couple of months when Season 13 starts. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next toy in just a minute. Day-o, day-o, daylight come and we have to go home. You guys know who I'm talking about? It's Skiff from Sodor's Legend of the Lost Treasure. Please don't hit me with a copyright strike for singing that. That was one of the lines Skiff had in this movie, Sodor's Legend of the Lost Treasure, which I really enjoyed. And I'm going to enjoy, I think, unboxing Skiff the Railboat. He is from the movie that came out a few months ago, the most recent Thomas and Friends movie that has been released onto DVD. And I guess I'll get started unboxing this. Skiff is a really neat character. He's like a sailboat, but he's on rails, so they call him a railboat. I guess that makes sense. Come on, Skiff. Oh, okay. He's gonna hang in there. All right, let me set Skiff down. Let's take a look. So he's a sailboat. He runs on rails, and I've heard mixed reviews about this item. Okay, so first of all, I'm noticing it's pretty flimsy because he's designed to spin around like this. His sail is made of cloth, and I believe this model is from the end of the movie where he's no longer Sailor John's prisoner almost, and he's giving railboat tours, and it's hard to see from this angle. Let me bring him back. He is, if my camera will focus, on the side there it says Skiff's Railboat Tours, which is really cool. So, I like his red wheels. I'm not sure how I feel about how flimsy he is. I kind of wish it was more of he had to put some effort into turning him, but at the same time it's really cool. I guess I'm thinking from the perspective of using him in my series where the minute I grab him, he just spins. I hope you guys can see that. So I believe I have Skiff the right way because I've been spinning him around so much. This is a nice model, a lot of plastic for sure, but I kind of enjoy this cloth. It's really unique. And then the best part, this bends over so that if Skiff wanted to go through this tunnel up here, he can, but I guess he needed to push because then his sail's down and he doesn't have any wind. So Skiff here is a pretty nice model. Let me show his face. A lot of people have gotten Skiff. I know a lot of these items you guys are seeing, most of you probably already have because they've been out for a while. What's really interesting, I just noticed on the sail here, is that it's only one-sided technically. You guys see that? Look, the design is on this side, but they couldn't just replicate it on this side. I don't know. So I talked about in the first review how in some areas we get great detail, like those knights, and then we get kind of lazy detail here. So I don't know. I'm thinking of the perspective of kids like detail. I remember when I was a kid, I was all over toys with a lot of detail. And just for the heck of it, let's bring in Sailor John. Actually, let me put Sailor John right there. Yes, I have a wooden railway figure of Sailor John. I'm going to be introducing these guys, I think, in season 13 of my series. I know I'll get questions about that. The problem with getting all of these items is that a lot of people want them to be introduced right away, and I can't just introduce a bunch of characters. I'm going to be doing that already because of what I've set up in Oliver's 11. And so I will do my best. I think I have an idea of what I want to do for these guys in my series. That's pretty cool right there. But as you can see, it's pretty tricky to keep Sailor John on there. Would have been cool, however, if there was like, see this plastic here? If there was another one at the end here, and then Sailor John could like slide in there, and he'd kind of stay. I don't know, maybe I'm thinking too much about this toy. Overall, I really like this item. Like I said, I'll have to get used to kind of the flimsiness of this. I guess you have to grab him by the bottom here, and actually Skiff has been backwards this whole time. That just proves how spinny this thing is. I lost direction of which way he was supposed to go. And then Sailor John here is, I won't go into this too much, but he's a nice figure. I can't wait to introduce these guys into my series. So Skiff and Sailor John, the pair that was, I don't know what they're going to do with these two in the future. Bye guys. Alright everybody, thanks for watching me unbox Skiff the Railboat. Let's move on to our next item. And continuing on with the discussions, let's move on to Birdie the Bus in CGI form. So I have a couple of different versions of Birdie. I have the classic one with no magnet on the back that I have been using in my series for a long time. It has the people in the windows. Then I have like the second version of Birdie. He has the magnet on the back and no passengers like in this version, but on this Birdie he has a CGI face. This was made by Mattel. There's the back of the box. And I think that model you see there is actually very similar to the one we're going to get in the box here. So let's take Birdie out. I've always had a fond spot for Birdie. I think he's a great character. I kind of wish they'd use him more, but at the same time I really like his small appearances that he's had in the past couple seasons. I can't remember, there's the episode, I just forget the name of it. There's the episode where Thomas like falls off the track and goes through the bushes and Birdie's right there. So here is Birdie the Bus by Mattel. And I think the most important part of these new characters is the face, because for the longest time we had characters that were not very representative of what you saw on screen. That face looks really nice, I will have to say. The one thing I wish this Birdie would have is passengers. The reason why back in the 90s Birdie's passengers were removed is because there was a man smoking like a pipe in the back seat, in one of these seats, And I think parents were thinking that Learning Curve was trying to tell their children that smoking a pipe is okay. So all of the passengers were removed, but I think we've moved past that incident. I mean, we're coming up on like 15 or 20 years ago that happened. I wish my camera would focus. There we go. I think it'd be a great addition if Birdie had passengers. Of course, don't include passengers that like the pipe guy. Just don't do that. You know, let's put a bus driver shadow in his window and something that would really elevate this model. Overall, this has nice detail. Really nice detail, actually. I don't know why the bottom of this is plastic. Hopefully this shows up. It's plastic. I didn't really think that'd be necessary for a bus like this, but who knows? I don't know. I think that plastic is unnecessary. Will you focus? There we go. I think this is unnecessary. It doesn't really add anything, so I don't really get what's the point of that, but plastic shows up in some weird places in the Thomas Wooden Railway line. So overall, this is a nice model Birdie. I guess he needs the magnet on the back in case he needs to get towed places, but I feel like this model would be far superior if A, it had passengers in it, and B, if the magnet was gone, because the magnet sticks out like a sore thumb, in my opinion. Overall, this is really nice. I'm going to be using this Birdie in my series. He looks great. Birdie's going to drive along the track like he's not supposed to. He'll get on the road eventually. And I guess we'll just move on to the next item. I'll see you guys in just a short bit. Time for a bigger item. Let's do one, shall we? This is the Rusty to the Rescue 3-pack. I apologize for the glare on Rusty's face right there, but this is a really cool pack. Saw this in stores and was thinking, you know what? Now that I need a CGI version of Rusty, this would probably be a neat pack to get. So here is Rusty to the Rescue. I know there's an episode called Rusty to the Rescue. Isn't that where that's interesting. That's the episode where he rescues Stepney from like season 4 or something. But that obviously does not have anything to do with the items you see here. So really interesting. I don't know how this unboxing is going to go, to be honest. There's what the back looks like. Rusty's trotting along a field with no tracks under him. And then the cool part, there's like an interactive part to this. There's a light that you push. Try me. Press button. All right, so I'm going to try to unbox this live to camera. I don't know how it's going to go. If I end up doing a jump cut, you guys know why. I feel like I'm crushing the item. All right, so the problem with this is there's just a ton of plastic. There we go. I've torn some of it. There's a ton of plastic on this item, which makes it really hard to rip, whereas this cardboard back here is really easy to tear. Come on. All right, so we've kind of... Will these pull out? Oh, no, they're attached to the bottom. All right. So, I don't know. Personally, I kind of miss the days where, you know, the 3-packs were just in boxes, like cardboard boxes, like the Flying Scotsman. But I guess kids are so visual nowadays that we need to have them like this. All right, guys, I'm going to do a jump cut. Sorry about that. Rusty's wondering what the heck's going on. I'll be back in just a moment. All right, after much tugging and pulling, I finally have Rusty out of the packaging, and something else also popped out. It's a pamphlet that Mattel did very early on when they took over the range. I'm not going to go into big detail here. It has a layout on one side, and then on the other it has a picture of all of the items that you can buy. This is from 2013. It says 2013 at the top right there. Look at all those items. You guys can pause the video if you want to look at that. I'm sure we'll come across more of these as the unboxing continues. Something else also popped out at the bottom of the box. This is how to replace the battery in this item right here. There we go. So I will be keeping that just in case. And here comes Rusty. I'm going to review these items one at a time. I have them ready to go on the side here because my turntable is not big enough. Actually, okay, sorry, I have the items backwards over here, so I want to make sure I do that right. So Rusty is a narrow gauge engine. He has been in CGI for a couple of years from Blue Mountain Mystery. Yep, let me zoom in here. So this version of Rusty looks really nice. I was originally looking at getting like a Tomy version of Rusty that they only sold for a year, but I wasn't too impressed with what I saw. And now I realize this Rusty is where it's at. This is a really nice rendition of our diesel friend on the narrow gauge railway. Tons of detail, actually. And looking at over here, everything looks in order. No big scratches or anything like that. Really like that face. I really enjoy this model, actually. I know a few unboxes ago I said Edward was really nice. Rusty is really great too. So that's Rusty. Let me put him in the back, and let's bring up the two pieces of rolling stock that came here. So one of these is just a cargo car. It says Blue Mountain Quarry on the side, has a magnet on top. And by looking at it, it's like pickaxes and rope, if the camera will focus. It's pickaxes and rope. So I presume it's for climbing supplies. Don't know why it says Blue Mountain Quarry. I guess maybe some workmen are going to go up and try to find some more Blue Mountain rocks, I'm guessing. And then just a normal cargo car. Oh, actually, no, it says mining supply car. So this car is specific to this 3-pack. And then over here, something pretty cool. This light swings around. I don't know what this is called. Searchlight car. I believe they did something like this with Fergus. A few years ago, they had a 3-pack with Fergus and like the power cars, and it's the same setup. I want to say this light's pretty neat. Let me see if I can shine this on Rusty. Okay, you can see it on the tree back there. Gives off a fair amount of light. Really, the battery's not going to run out unless you like tape this down. So overall, really good. Unique design on this car for sure. It's like a flatbed, really. Don't know what this is. Maybe that's probably, you guys see that little, that must be where you change the part of the area where you change the battery. So, a really, I'd say interesting 2-pack. We get pretty much a cargo car and then a neat searchlight. Actually, let me turn this. Okay. You can see a little bit of light. I thought it was gonna illuminate this back here. Oh, the cargo car is in the way, sorry. There we go. There's a little bit of light, not a whole lot, so it's not going to blind your children if they shine it in their eyes. Let me bring Rusty out here. This is a nice 3-pack, although I don't understand why it's called Rusty to the Rescue. As far as I know, there wasn't an episode, a recent episode, especially in the CGI era, where Rusty went and rescued somebody with these cars. I guess it's pretty similar to like the Peter Sam's Dynamite Delivery Pack that came out, where I mean, I don't even know if that was based on an episode. So, nonetheless, I enjoy these 3-packs that come with like an interesting character. Rusty isn't the most popular character. Probably wouldn't have gotten this 3-pack, honestly, if like Thomas or Percy came with it. So I enjoy it. Best of all, I just noticed this, the cargo car here kind of matches Rusty. And this is red up top, but nonetheless, Rusty still looks good. So say goodbye, Rusty. He's going to go help some workers, I'm guessing, climb to the top of one of the Blue Mountain peaks. And so that was Rusty to the Rescue, guys. Let's move on to our next item. And while I have the camera zoomed out, let's take a look at another destination that is quite big. In fact, it can't even fit on the screen that my camera has. Let me zoom up. All right, we're taking a look at the Lights and Sounds Ironworks. It says that right at the bottom there, if you didn't catch that. This item has a peculiar story I'm going to talk about for a bit, because at the bottom here, that fine print pretty much says you need a screwdriver to get this out of the box. So I won't be doing this unboxing live to camera. I'm going to do a jump cut. So before I take this out of the box, let me tell you guys about kind of a funny story with this item. I saw this on eBay like many months ago, probably around like 6 or 8 months ago. And I was like, that's a really nice destination. And at the time, this was selling for like $40 at Toys R Us. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to pay that much. Seems a little pricey. So this popped up on eBay for $25. And I'm thinking, well, that's $15 off of the store price. I'm going to get it. So I bought this off of eBay. It came in the mail, really enjoyed. I think I posted this on my Instagram many months back. I've had some of these items I've had for a really long time. And not much later than a week, I walk into Toys R Us about like 6 days later maybe, and this item is on the clearance rack for $9.99. So all of a sudden it dropped from $40 to $10. And I kid you guys not, it's still that same price at Toys R Us. This was many months ago. I went to Toys R Us 2 weeks ago, I want to say, and this item was still there. It was on, it's not on the clearance necessarily. It's not like they have a special section for clearance, but it was still $9.99. And guys, this is a steal for $10. I mean, it really is. So the moral of the story I just said is, or I just told you about, is that I thought I got a great deal for $25. Now it's down to $10. And although it's not a very long destination, it's nice and short. I think this will add a lot of potential and a lot of character to your layout. So let me do a jump cut. I'm going to come back to you guys with this thing completely out of the box. I have to use a screwdriver and I don't want to make you guys watch that. So I'll be back in just a moment. It took a while, but I finally got the ironworks out of the box. There is some of the packaging that I had to take out. I'm going to show you guys. These are they're like twisty ties, I'm guessing, that keep the ironworks in the box. And then this is what I needed the screwdriver for. This is actually what the track was attached to. If you remember, actually let me just show it to you. The ironworks just hanging in there. So I just took it out. And then I can't throw this away. You see that little piece of iron back there. I'm going to do that unboxing in just a second. Let me set the ironworks down right here. Let me see if I can get this out of the box. If you didn't see it there for a moment, there's like a small piece of iron that's at the back of the box. Wow, it's in here really good actually. I don't want to have to do another jump cut, but I might be faced with doing that. Believe me, folks. Oh, there we go. I was going to say, I'm tearing this box apart. There are the remnants. Sorry. Something just fell out, actually. I think that's a piece of plastic. So we have the ironworks out of the box, finally. I guess they didn't want it to get shoplifted. There's that piece, that stubborn piece of iron that was at the back. And let's bring in the ironworks. So this is what it looks like. I'm going to zoom up for just a second. It's a small destination. It's not very wide. I mean, this piece of track is about as wide as Thomas is. This is an interesting destination. There's a lot of plastic on this, but I thought it was a very cool one. So what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to take this piece of iron, slide it in the back here, and then gravity will do the rest. And then you bring it around, and then I believe this tips, yes. There we go. Okay. So this piece of iron is nice. It's all plastic. It adds a little bit to the set. Alright, so the one gripe I have about this is this special piece of track that comes with it. Let me zoom down actually. This special piece of track has this little knob at the end. And it's designed so that the track can fit into the ironworks like this. Personally, I don't think this is needed. To begin with, we now have a piece of track that looks out of place anywhere else except with the ironworks. And this style of track has become a lot more common recently with the Mattel items. I don't know why they think this is needed. That's where the screw was. To me, it doesn't add a whole lot. In fact, it restricts the user, I guess, or the layout builder. If I wanted to use this somewhere else on my layout, I can't really do that because it has this awkward knob sticking out of it. What I would have liked, I don't mind them including a piece of track, don't get me wrong. I think it's really generous of them actually, but why can't we just have like a normal piece of track that you can just slide up to it? Why do we have to have this lock in? You know, it's so that I can just carry it like this? I don't know. I don't get that. Maybe you guys have your own theory, but to me, it's like I know they're trying to do it for a specific reason. I'm lost at what that reason is. I think just a normal piece of track like this is normal enough. And then if I wanted to, for example, like stick this in the background, maybe I don't want it to be right next to the track. I have this hole here that can only be filled with this piece of track. So I don't know, maybe I'm griping about really, you know, small stuff that doesn't matter. I should just get on with the review. So the cool part of this item is that it's the lights and sounds ironworks. I'm going to turn it on its side here. And when you move this, it makes really cool sounds like that. So I really like that. I like how it lights up. I really like the sound. Let me see if it'll do it again. Pretty sure that's not what, you know, smelting iron sounds like, but nonetheless, it's interactive. Kids will like it. I really like how small and compact it is. You can really stick this anywhere, but you're kind of limited in a sense because of this piece of track. So like I said, don't know if I'm complaining about something so small and so insecure that I may look really stupid, but oh well. You get a nice piece of iron with this. It'd be kind of, I guess it makes sense to include a cargo car, but I think this is just designed to sit like that. So anyway, this has been the Lights and Sounds Ironworks. Ari and Bert will have a ton of fun playing with this in the next season of my series. And let's move on to the next item, shall we? I was just talking about Ari and Bert. Let's discuss another Diesel right now. This is Derek. He is from the episode Double Teething Troubles, which is from either season 4 or season 5 of Thomas and Friends. He's basically a one-off character. He was introduced for a specific reason and then never seen again. He's actually seen in Calling All Engines, but only in a cameo, which is kind of a pointless cameo. It doesn't really add anything to the story. So there's Derek. I already have a version of Derek, but since I am upgrading a lot of my models for the upcoming season of my series, I thought I would do the same thing with Derek. This is pretty much the re-released version that came out in 2007. But obviously this isn't from 2007. The packaging's from much later. So Learning Curve must have had a big supply of these and they didn't get sold. So they actually marketed this as just a normal character. But in reality, Derek only appeared back in the TV series back in the late 90s and the early 2000s in just that one episode. And then, of course, Calling All Engines. So let me unbox him. This model isn't much different from the one I have, and so I originally wasn't even thinking I was going to replace Derek, but as I thought about it, I figured, you know what, my model of Derek just has miscellaneous scratches, not that I don't mind that, but you know what, he might need to go to the Diesel Works and get a small overhaul. So here is Derek. Hopefully I don't let him fall out. And here he is. So I thought Derek was a really unique character. You know, it was really cool to see an engine in real life, his issues be portrayed in the Thomas and Friends series, because I guess Derek's model in the real world had those teething troubles. So that was really cool. Once I learned about that fact, I was like, that's really neat. I thought Derek was a really nice engine. Kind of disappointed that, you know, he was kind of, I wouldn't say killed off, but he only appeared once. Even though he doesn't work at the Iron Works like Ari and Bert, he works at the Soda China Clay Company with Bill and Ben, but we haven't seen him there since. So who knows if he really does indeed work there. What's cool about Derek is since he was known as like a problem engine, this back area opens up and theoretically you bring in a workman and he fixes Derek all up and then it slides back in. So this Derek is very similar to the one I have. This model, however, seems to have more vibrant colors. And I really like this. This is a very nice model of Derek. I believe, is that British Railways logo right there? Let me take a close look at it. I believe it is. So he's in the British Railways green livery that's really popular with the diesels. His is a little darker, however. And then what I thought was really cool is this whole back area is yellow. I believe on my Derek this is black. So that really stood out to me when I was looking at this. I was like, man, that's a nice item. So I've always had a soft spot for Derek, thought he was a really cool character. At the same time, we have so many new engines coming into the series every single season that we probably won't ever see Derek again. But don't worry, he lives on in my Thomas Wooden Railway series. Hopefully he will be the main character in an upcoming episode of my series. And we are almost done with the items that I'm going to be unboxing in part 1 of this video. Let's continue on. Did you like The Adventure Begins? Because I certainly did. I thought it was a great movie, and it's about time that we kind of had a reboot of the series where we got to see what the Soda Railway was really like. And we got to see exactly that in the movie The Adventure Begins, and one of the main stars of that movie was James. He was painted in a different livery, however. He was painted black just like we saw him in the Railway series. So this model of James is known as Introducing James on top, and then on the bottom it says Origins James. I don't know why it was given 2 different names. I have seen newer models of this, however, that have, I believe it's called Origins James on top and on the bottom. So I don't know why. There must have been some confusion. Maybe like one Mattel worker was like, we should call it this. And the other one was like, no, we shouldn't. So there was a compromise. This model of James represents when he first came to Sodor. He was painted black. He had wooden brakes. And that is clearly exhibited in the movie The Adventure Begins. And so I'm going to be taking a look at the Introducing James version, or Origin James, in this part of the unboxing, and then in the second part I'm going to be taking a look at the red James that I'll be using in season 13 of my series. So this item has been out for over a year. That's why I didn't do a separate discussion on it, because many different YouTube users have voiced their opinions on this item. So it's just a cool model, and for me, having grown up with the Railway series, always enjoying the books, it was peculiar in the TV series how they just skipped over the fact that James was painted black and it was just assumed that he was always red. So I really like this model. I think James looks particularly stunning with the red outline on his black paintwork. Origin James is tender. He has a nice detail right here. That line right there is actually his whistle. Hopefully that will continue over into his regular version that I will unbox in the second part of this video. So James is a really nice model. I like how he has this red on the front. Great face too. Nothing else really to say. It's a nice model. I'm sure there are tons of more reviews out on YouTube of people going in depth and analyzing his picture from the Railway series, but I'll just leave it that this James is a really nice character. If I ever decide to do a review or like a remake of The Adventure Begins, I will definitely use this version of James. All right, everybody, I'll see you in just a sec. Say bye, James. And while we're on the topic of movies, let's take a look at this 2-pack from Sodor's Legend of the Lost Treasure. Yes, this is the Oliver and Oliver 2-pack. We get an Oliver double feature. We get Oliver the Excavator and Oliver the Great Western Engine. Now, Oliver the Engine right here has had a couple of different models over the course of Thomas Wooden Railway history. I believe this is his third total redesign, but he's had more models than that, obviously. Whereas Oliver here, the excavator, this is the first time we've seen him in wooden railway form. So I'm super excited to unbox this. I always wondered as a kid why Oliver the excavator was never given a wooden railway model, but at least that finally happened in Sodor's Legend of the Lost Treasure. It's very similar to how we got Jack and Alfie and Byron and Max and Monty right away, and then it took a while to get Nelson, Patrick, and Kelly. So who knows, we may get Ned, we may get Buster eventually, which is kind of exciting. And stick around for the end of this review here, because I'm going to do something really cool with this model of Oliver. I think you guys are going to like it. So let me unbox this. I'm excited to get to see the Oliver the Excavator, and I'll be using this new version of Oliver in my series. So we have some great items to look forward to. Let's take a look at Oliver the Engine first. And there's the box, which I'm keeping off to the side. We'll take a look at all that at the end of part 2. So here is Oliver, the Great Western Engine. This is how he looked in, I guess he was technically introduced in Tale of the Brave around that time. And Mattel did something really smart here. They released Oliver in a 2-pack with a cargo car and like a dinosaur fossil, because they knew people were going to go out and buy Oliver because he was a hot commodity. And then basically a year later, they re-release him again with Oliver the Excavator. So that was something Mattel did really smart. They basically went out there and made you buy the same character twice. So good job on them. When I heard that Oliver was going to be reintroduced with Oliver the Excavator, I immediately held out. I didn't want to get 2 versions of Oliver. So let's take a look at this model here of the engine Oliver. He's got a nice face. I don't understand this bit of plastic here. This whole wraparound area right here is plastic. That confuses me. I don't think that's necessary. Nice, I guess that's his whistle. Nice gold whistle there. There's Oliver. This model looks particularly similar to the second version he had. The first version of Oliver really isn't that accurate. I mean, really, no version of Wooden Railway Oliver is accurate because technically, I guess this back wheel is supposed to be a smaller one, but I guess we haven't gotten there yet. So who knows? We may see a new version of Oliver where he actually is super accurate. But overall, this is nice. It's interesting. Although I think the face looks good, I am not particularly fond of it. I mean, he looks like he does in the TV series, but I kind of wish Oliver had a different face. That's just a minor thing with me. It's not a deal breaker. I still think he looks fantastic. This is just great right here. Can't wait to use him in my series. And now, let's get on to the model everybody's been waiting for. Well, at least for a few months. I know a lot of people got this item right when it came out, and so this item is a few months late. I have heard mixed reaction. on this model, and I can see why. Much like Skiff, Oliver the Excavator is loosey-goosey, so to speak. He has one pivot point on his chassis, and really that's it. This scoop is interesting because it's basically useless. You can't scoop up anything really of substance. For example, with Alfie, his is magnetic. That makes sense. This here is just all plastic and really doesn't do anything. I mean, it looks cool, at least he has it, but I mean, it's so small that you can't pick up anything. I think it's funny. This part of Oliver looks like he's wearing a hat. I always thought that was really funny. So I can see why people are frustrated with this, because Oliver is supposed to spin around like this, but at the same time, this is so loose that, I mean, just look at it. It's way too loose. In fact, I mean, if I were to try to move Oliver along, I mean, he just shakes back and forth. It's like something's broken almost. So what they should have done. They should have done something like Alfie, where he has a central pivot point. It's a strong one. It's firm, and it doesn't just spin around like this, because I can understand how this would get really frustrating. So overall, I mean, it's cool that look how easy it spins around, but at the same time, it's frustrating how easy it is to spin around. So I am not 100% sure what I think of this model. Overall, I'm at least glad we have a wooden railway Oliver, but at the same time, could have been done much better, in my opinion. He even has like buffers. That's interesting. The weird little details that we get here and there. And possibly one of the biggest things wrong with this item is the fact that he doesn't have treads. I don't understand why it is so hard for Mattel to include things like that. I mean, in the TV series, he clearly has treads, and he was denied them here. I mean, look, even in this shot, it's like he's sloping downward, you know? It's like, I think that's about level, personally, but he's just sloping down. I mean, this model just feels like it's about to fall apart. So I can see why people are frustrated with this. There are some nice painted on details, but he's really missing one huge thing, and that is that is the treads. So here I have something kind of cool, kind of interesting. This is the bottom half of Terrence. I had an old model of Terrence that I didn't need, and it's actually really cool. I've never done this to a Thomas Wooden Railway item, but I took this apart because I'm going to take the treads off of this and put them on Oliver, even though that was supposed to be done at the factory. So it's really interesting to see how this model came together. This top part here, this part's plastic, this part's wood. Obviously the face is plastic. On the bottom here, really, it's just like these two screws that come in and attach to the bottom here. I'm not going to push this all the way in because it took a lot of heaving and pulling to get this out. I didn't break anything off the model. I guess I could put it back together. I just took a screwdriver. You can kind of see the indentation right there. I took a screwdriver and pretty much just forced this off of the model. And if you want to do this, please ask your parents' permission. Don't just go tearing up your toy trains for no reason. But basically, this bottom half of Terrence is its own part, which is really cool. So hopefully I can do this live to camera. I'm going to take his treads off, and this Terrence is going to look really weird. Let's just see how it looks. I guess I can snap this back together again. Actually, it's not going to go all the way. That's kind of what it looks like. It's so weird. I've seen Terrences like this on eBay, and I'm like, those look so weird, and now I have one. So as you can see, Terrence isn't in all the way. And by the way, for the screwdriver, I just forced it in right there, and gradually it just pops up. I can't even, there we go. I mean, it's in there really well, so good job there. This is from the learning curve era, by the way. So I have de-treaded Terrence, and now I'm going to go put these on Oliver. Let me see if I can do this live to camera. I'd really like to see it. The problem is, this is so flimsy that I think it's going to work. I'm trying to keep this on the camera. All right, so already I can tell Terrence's wheels, so to speak, are much thicker than this Oliver. So this might actually be a little bit of a challenge. Yeah, his tread keeps on slipping over the back there. I think the treads are just going to have to sit on the wheel. They're not really going to be able to move. I've seen people do this before, and it got me really interested. So basically, man, I really don't want to do a jump cut again, but I'm having some problems here. Let's try the other side. So I kind of got the tread around the tires, but that was about it. I didn't really get them to stay. I don't know if I'll be able to get them to stay. Who knows? Maybe they'll kind of have to just sit like this. If I can get this done, I am going to want to use Oliver in my series, and I'm going to want to portray him in the way he was supposed to be portrayed. So that's kind of what I have right now. Not too happy with that, to be honest. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I don't know if this is going to work or not. I've seen people, I saw one example of a person who did this, but they used an older style Terrence. This is like the most recent style of Terrence. Somebody used an older style, and I think the caterpillars on that Terrence were a lot thicker than the ones I'm dealing with right here. I mean, really, what I'm going to have to do is just like kind of balance. There we go. There we go. All right. I'm sorry that took so long. This isn't 100% good either, but this is really, I probably won't only end up doing one side in this video because, let me see. If I mess up both sides, yeah, see, my fingers, that's how easy it is to mess this up. My fingers are just, every time I touch it, it just moves out of place. So, as you can see, this is what I want to do. On this side, this is what keeps happening. The tread goes over, and really it's like I'm walking a fine line here, literally, because these treads have to fit right on right on Oliver's wheels. Okay. They fit well on the back because there's not as much room, but when you get towards the front here, where all the swiveling happens, that's when we get, yeah, see the treads like fall back over, and now they've completely fallen off the side here. Oh well, I might just have to call this good like it is, but nonetheless, regardless of where this item ends in terms of this discussion that we're doing right now, I will be using this for my series. Okay, so this is doable. I think yeah, man. So I was hoping it'd be a nice snug fit. That is not going to be the case, it looks like. This is about as best as I can do, and it's still not good. All right, so let me just sit Oliver down. Wow, okay, so this, there we go. All right, so lesson learned. I probably should have tried this before I did it on camera, but anyway, basically, what I'm getting at is if I use Oliver, this Oliver in my series, I am going to put treads on him because he deserves to look that way. I'm just having a hard time doing it straight to camera. I don't even know, these treads are so thin, I don't even know if they're going to work anyway. So let me move Oliver, the rest of Oliver, off camera and the tread, and we'll say goodbye to this Oliver as well. Sorry that this part of the video took so long. I was hoping that would look really cool doing it straight to camera, but unfortunately it worked against me. So sorry about that. If you check out my social media websites, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, I'll probably post a completed picture of Oliver the Excavator, and so you guys can see what it actually looks like. All right, we have just a few more items left in part one of this unboxing. Let's get to it. I'm really excited to unbox this item you're going to see before you in just a moment because this is one of the most unique, distinctive styles of packaging in Thomas Wooden Railway history. This is Herald. Like I have been saying, I'm upgrading all of my engines to CGI counterparts, and I really don't like the Herald that is sold in stores now. It's awkward, it's the size isn't correct, really doesn't look good. So I have come across this learning curve version of Herald on eBay who looks much nicer, and because Herald is such a wide character, they've done this unique boxing style where he kind of just fits in the middle. Normally an engine would just be on this side or the other. Here, literally, Herald is split down the middle, and it's a gigantic box, but it's really cool. So I don't know how this unboxing is going to go. As you can see, I just tore it right there. I don't know. I might have to go get some scissors to get him out of here because now that I'm realizing this, it's not like the box is split in two. It's like the box is one. Okay. Well, this is problematic. I was hoping like this box would split. It's kind of doing it. It's kind of doing it. I really don't want to crush Herald, but I guess he's fine. Man, I had the Oliver troubles, and now I'm having Herald troubles. There we go. Just like the song, never, never, never give up. There you go. All right. Wow, this thing's in here really good. This is harder than getting the ironworks out. Oh my goodness. All right. Wow, that's a great sound. Can we get, I just want to get them out. All right, so sorry for that long unboxing. That was a struggle. Sorry about that. Anyway, that's the joys of doing all this stuff live to camera. So here's Harold. Oh good, the camera focused. Here's Harold. I think this version of Harold is actually really unique. It's about the same length as the Harold I use right now, whereas the new version is really short. I don't know why. His scale looks really messed up. Best of all, he has a full face. And what I mean by that is like a round face, whereas my current Harold has like a face painted on, which doesn't look bad, but I think in terms of when I want to upgrade my models, I want them to look as good as possible. So here's Harold. Let me bring him up close. The face looks good. I mean, Harold's always been kind of a bland character. I don't know why they didn't give him eyebrows, unless Harold doesn't have eyebrows in the TV series. That's interesting. The face is plastic, the back here is plastic, and then this middle section is wood. We have the propeller up top that spins around. Feels like it needs to be oiled, honestly. It doesn't spin too well. And this is a learning curve model, so this hasn't been sold in stores for some time. And then this back part here, which was, I guess this is actually what it looks like on my version, but we don't have this propeller here. This propeller does nothing, it's simply for show. Kind of looks like a little weird, looks like a candy bar almost sitting at the back. But man, I really like this actually. There's more detail. He's got a little light right there, that's what that's supposed to be. This model of Harold is actually very nice. I'm glad I made the choice to go with this model rather than sacrificing looks for convenience on the Mattel Harold. And instead of puffing away, I guess Harold's gonna fly away. So everybody, we have one more item to review. Let's get right to it, shall we? All right, folks, we are almost done with part one of the unboxing of all of these Thomas Wooden Railway items. Don't worry, the second part of the video will be up shortly. And this is the final item we're going to look at in this part. This is the Deluxe Railroad Crossing Signal. One of those items that was originally sold under Learning Curve, and then when Mattel took over, they probably thought, that's a nice item, let's do our own little mix on it. And you're probably wondering why I have now two of pretty much the identical same crossings. Well, sorry, I'm struggling here. This one is Wellsworth. Sorry, it's not focusing, but it's technically the Wellsworth crossing, whereas the one that has been featured in my series for a number of years is simply just the Hat Street crossing. And since I have Wellsworth the station, I thought it'd be really cool to get Wellsworth the crossing. So even though the Hat Street crossing and the Wellsworth crossing look very similar, there's a different paint job, probably makes different noises. Yeah, there's a different chime. Interesting. All right, so let's start unboxing this. This might be a struggle to unbox as well. Yeah, I already see tape, which isn't good. Tape's not that bad. I'm gonna have to do this like gorilla style and just tear this thing open. So, interesting fun fact about the Hat Street crossing that I currently own is that it actually doesn't have any batteries in it, because a long time ago when I got it, it had batteries in it for a while. I think I even used the batteries, or the batteries are heard in actually a couple episodes of my series. The reason though is for some reason, after a while when I was trying to use it in videos and such, when I was stepping across the carpet, the sound would go off. I don't know why it was. It must have been triggered by my footsteps or something. So I'd be trying to film an episode. That was when I did all my episodes in one take. I'd be trying to film the episode, and I'd just be walking along, and all of a sudden in the background you hear the Hat Street crossing going off, and it got really annoying after a while. And so I finally just decided to take the batteries out, I believe, or they've died, one of those two. So I've gotten the side open. Will this slide out? I want to say it will. Sorry, let me enjoy looking at the mountain tunnel there for a moment. There we go. All right, so here's that outside of the box. Going to toss in the trash pile. And here is what we're left with. It's kind of like a carcass, protective carcass, I'm guessing. And we get some cool little, ooh, I might have to cut those. Well, let me see what it looks like. Okay, so this is the bottom. Because this is an open packaging, they have to make this stuff really secure, otherwise kids are going to come along and just tear it right out. So it's understandable, but at the same time, things were a lot simpler when everything was just protected in the box and we didn't have to worry about shoplifting and all that good stuff. So, well, I might have to do a jump cut, unfortunately. Let me take, yeah, because these are wrapped around. Oh my goodness. I was hoping to do all this straight to camera. Actually, you know what? I may be able to get this done. If so, this will be the longest unboxing ever, but I mean, this video is probably really long. Thank you so much if you made it this far. I know the attention span on YouTube is like incredibly short, and I enjoy making long videos. I think they're really cool, but not a lot of people watch them. So, also in terms of the second part of this video that's going to be coming up soon, we're going to be looking at just as many items, very interesting items. In fact, might even say the items in the next part are more interesting. That's just my opinion. I tried to balance them out so it's not like one part is better than the other. Okay, here we go. We got part of it loose. Just one moment. All right, ta-da! It is finally released. I'm so glad I was able to get that done in one shot. So, man, the trash pile over there is ridiculous. It's going to be really interesting to show that to you guys. So, this is the Wellsworth Crossing, or technically the Deluxe Railroad Crossing Signal. Why don't they just call it Wellsworth Crossing? I guess I will have to make an episode called Wilbert and the Wellsworth Crossing. Let's see here. Same layout, same format as the Hat Street Crossing model. I mean, even down to the T. It's just different artwork, really. Does that light even work? Did I miss something? There we go. Okay, so for a while this red light wasn't working. There we go. I hope I wasn't the only one that saw that. It's like this needed to be played with for a moment for it to finally work. That was really weird. Because for a second there, the green light was the only thing that was working. So this is a nice model. I said the reason I got this is because I have Wellsworth Station. I thought it'd be nice to, I mean, I enjoy stuff like this. I'd rather have these destinations have a specific name and a specific title than just Railroad Crossing. I'd rather it be called Wellsworth Crossing, because then for people like me who like to build the big layouts, it gives us like kind of directions almost. Don't think that's the right term. But as you can see here, there's a piece for the trains to go on, and then this basically forces you to have your road vehicles on the ground, which isn't such a bad thing, but it's unique nonetheless. So that's all I really have to say about this item. Let me turn it upside down. We got some licensing stuff there. I believe that's where you take the battery out if you want to. Hopefully this one won't completely freak out on me like the other one did. Okay, you see the red light? It's like flickering. Huh, that is really peculiar. So it works sometimes, and then I swear when I started this video it wasn't working, and then you saw right there it was flashing really quick. So I may have uncovered something particularly interesting. But anyway, I should probably end this video. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know this video is probably going to be really long. I appreciate you all sticking with me. Wellsworth Crossing, gonna walk away. At the beginning of the next video, I'm going to do a recap of what we've done, and then I'm going to do a whole nother section of Thomas Wooden Railway unboxings. I had a lot of fun making this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the background here. Anyway, I'll see you on part 2 in just a moment. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in just a little bit.